when we spoke with you 2 weeks ago, it was about the hurdle. Like, how have you felt your game's evolved in the last 2 weeks from what you did last week against Edmonton to the 2 touchdowns today?
Well, I'm just doing what I do. I've been playing football since I was 5 years old, just focusing on one play at a time. And I put a lot of work in by myself my entire life when no one's looking. So I'm confident in what I could do. So it's just that's the mindset, just one play at a time.
Jake, how important is patience, though? I mean, it's not like you came here and started right away. How do you keep that sense of patience within you?
I mean, that's kind of epitomized my career. I was a walk-on in college, and I had to earn it as well. And just continuing to show up. I mean, everyone's not gonna believe in you or give you every opportunity in the world. Like they would to some people. But you just gotta, back to that same mindset, just focusing on one play at a time and just doing everything you can do where your feet are, just one play at a time.
Jake, how does it feel to know the coach notices that you're willing to do anything you're willing to?
I love Coach Ryan Dinwiddie, honestly. I die for that guy, going out there blocking, doing whatever he asked me to do, just continuing to earn his trust and prove to him on the field that I could be the player that I am.
Talk about the chemistry between you and Nick. That's touchdowns in 3 straight games. So.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, my first play in the CFL last year, I got in. Nick was in at quarterback, and he threw me a touchdown. And just last year, honestly, being on the practice roster all year, and just all those scout team reps and staying after practice for hours and just throwing, just me and him. So we've thrown a lot together, just me and him. And timing wise, we have that down, and he's very comfortable throwing me the ball. We communicate very well. And just very comfortable with each other.
Back-to-back weeks, kind of go up and down. Walk me through that, and what's going on?
Well, nothing's really going through my mind. I'm just reacting, just doing what I've been doing my entire life. I'm a baller, and that's my mindset, because I put the work in when no one's looking, like I said. So I'm just going to keep going one play at a time, and I'm just out there flowing.
Ryan really credits your blocking abilities. How much do you pride yourself on that?
I do take a lot of pride in that because, like I said, as a walk-on and just being an underrated guy, I'm also a little undersized. I just got to, make my presence felt. I'm actually, an aggressive player, and just continuing to just, like I said, one play at a time, just do everything I could do and just give all the effort I can do.
You're going to get a really good opportunity next week going into Hamilton to a pretty hostile environment. What does this win do for this group going into what is very important?
It gives us confidence. I mean, we know what we are in this locker room, and some of the games haven't gone our way, and our record doesn't reflect the type of team that we are. So we're going to stay extremely confident and just focus, like I said, one play at a time, one day at a time, and we're going to get a win.
How does a performance like that not only instill confidence in yourself, but build confidence in the team as you go into this home stretch of the season?
I think it just says a lot about our offense. The 52 points on the board was, I think, the biggest thing. However we get those yards. We lost 2 offensive linemen in this game, and we still were able to hit a lot of deep shots, and you can't do that without some pass protection. So it's big on Scirocco and Shane Richards to really be able to step up and continue to give good pockets and clean pockets for our receivers to get down the field. And then just a great game plan. We got a couple different looks at wide open receivers going down the field with Jake Herslow on that 170-yard touchdown. So it was just an incredible all-around effort by everybody, battling through injuries and losing Coxie and losing offensive linemen. So it's amazing to be able to have your best offensive game with all those factors.
You're down 14-3 early on, just not being able to score, having to convert those to kicks. How do you guys keep that confidence and momentum in yourselves to say, hey, we can do this? Not only can we come back, but we can win this game in such fashion like you did today with 52 points.
We knew it was going to be a long game and that we were just going to have to continue scoring, whether it be field goals or touchdowns, scoring on every drive, as often as we can. When you're facing a great offense like they have, Rourke, who's been on fire lately, if you have a string where you go 2 or 3 drives in a row where you're going 2 and outs, you'll quickly find yourself down 2 or 3 scores all of a sudden. So, even if it was field goals, we were driving the ball, we were converting second downs. I think both of our field goal drives early were both, 6, 7, 8 plus play drives, and they were getting worn out. We just figured out their second down plan, coverage-wise, and we're able to better execute that stuff in the red zone later on in the game.
Nick, you and Jake really started to find some chemistry as of late. Touchdowns in 3 straight games for him. Talk about the chemistry.
Yeah, a lot of I think that was built last year. When I was, back at quarterback, and he was joined us early on in the season. I think in June or July, and so he was on the practice roster most of the year. And he's one of those just hard-working always around the building kind of guys, to where if you're back at quarterback, you don't get a lot of reps. So after practice, you stay after and you try to throw with whoever wants to run, and Jake's always that guy that wanted to run. So I got countless reps of throwing with him, more than anybody else all year last year. And so obviously I think that's paying off big here. As soon as he gets on the field, he's been able to produce, and I trust how he runs routes, his body language and things like that, because I probably thrown to him just as much, if not more than anybody else.
You look like you got stung there in the right leg. How is
It's good. I think it was something that happened during practice a couple days ago, where I was able to just kind of shake it off. It hurt for a couple plays, and then it just kind of happened again. I just banged that same knee on the turf or on the grass, and immediately just kind of a shock of pain that lasted for maybe 2 or 3 plays, and then by the end of the drive, I think I was running a QB draw for a touchdown or did a QB sneak or something like that. So I was able to run afterwards. It hurt for a few plays and kind of went away after that.
Ryan, 52 points. If I had told you you were going to score that, would you believe me?
No, I mean, I knew we were going to score, right around that 30 range. That's always our goal, to get in the 30s. I feel like you got to score 30 this day and age to get wins. I thought Nick played great. I don't think he missed much, right? Our running back ran it downhill. Our O-line stopped up in the second half. So that was good to see, because I love throwing the football, but I like running it more. We don't get it going yet.
Speaking of running, Brown came in the second half. What did you think of his play?
Yeah, ran it downhill, right? He did a good job jump cutting when they did get some penetration. Protected the football, too. That was a key at the end. Told him to squeeze it. But I thought he had a great performance. He only been here for 2 weeks, right? So, due to the CFL game, we knew his resume, and that's why we chose to go with him. We thought he could help us as a football club. He did that tonight.
Brian, the reputation of this team under you for the past few years before this year, what made you guys tick were the big plays. I think today is the first game in this season that you've had as many big plays as you've had.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Coxie's kind of been our big play guy. I thought all those guys stepped up. Jake played really good. Nick gave him a chance to make plays. O-line did a good job protecting Nick for the whole game. Proud of that unit. We had obviously 2 O-line injuries. Next man up. We'll see how we're going to address next week. But yeah, we're going to have to take some time to lick our wounds a little bit, because we are beat up. But we have a long week, so we got to find ways to get those guys healthy.
Ryan, how does a game and a win like today prep you for what's going to be a hostile environment in Hamilton come next Monday?
Yeah, I just think we needed to win in the worst way, obviously, based off standings and where we're at as far as our record. But I think we needed to just build confidence. Even myself as a coach, I think I needed to see our guys finish in the fourth quarter. And when we fast start, we only get 3 there. It was unfortunate, but we go down 14-3. Those guys answered the bell. I thought they fought back. And we showed the highlight film yesterday. We never normally show highlight films after losses, but I just showed some good plays. We made great plays all year. We haven't been able to collectively finish games. That was good to see those guys do it all together.
Coach, can you talk about Brissett? He had a great game in Edmonton. He had a great game tonight. What have you seen in him that he has been able to switch get the switch going now?
Yeah, we put him to number 2 in the boundary. Kick the bars. Then they had a coaching spot. The bars knows that position. And I think Breezy's played pretty well the whole year, right? Sometimes the ball just doesn't find you. And I think that we've found the bars as much as we anticipated going in this game. But those guys have fought and they played hard. And I always tell Brissett he's a football player now, not a basketball player. He can go up and get it. But physicality's there as well. It's been nice to see his growth, since we brought him in the building.